Over to the live line to talk to the CEO and founder of American Energy Institute, Mr. Jason Isaac, on the Inflation Reduction Act. Kind of being all lies. Hi, Jason.
Hey, good morning. Good to be on.
Good, thanks for being back. So there's an op-ed out there kind of exposing what the IRA was built on. And when I say IRA, that's an acronym for Inflation Reduction Act. I know that you, as the founder of American Energy Institute and a former Texas representative, which is, by the way, God bless Texas, it really did fail us, and you know why.
Yeah, it really has. It's billions of dollars that are going to left-wing groups. This is really the Democrat funding operative bill. That's what it did. It takes our tax dollars and it goes to these organizations that then in turn donate money to Democrats to help them get elected so that they can get more money back in, and it doesn't go towards its intended purpose it certainly doesn't reduce inflation. It's actually increasing inflation, making things more expensive, like energy, which is the foundation of everything that we consume. And so it's leading to higher prices, but it's just about this grift, this fraud, this abuse of our trust and our tax dollars that's being uncovered by the Doge. It's being uncovered by other people. And we have sent a letter to members of Congress and asking them and publishing an op-ed, asking them for a complete repeal. And President Trump wants this. This is part of his American energy dominance agenda, to do a full repeal, not pick apart this Inflation Reduction Act, but completely repeal it. And that's exactly what we need to do if we're going to have American energy dominance.
Well, who's responsible for imposing penalties if people don't do what's in the IRA?
Well, I'm not sure about who's going to impose the penalties, but what's happening is the EPA administrator is trying to claw some of the money back. The Department of Energy is trying to do the same, and really President Trump is asking members of Congress not or to fully repeal it very soon.
Yeah.
And you've got 21 members of Congress that have written Speaker Mike Johnson, an open letter to Mike Johnson, and we've written about this, that talks about they want to keep parts of it because they've got Chinese battery companies are setting up shop in their districts, and so they're worried about the loss of jobs, but they could care less about how much it's increasing the cost of energy. Electricity is through the roof in this country, and that's going to lead to deindustrialization, and it's like the thing they're fighting for. We want to keep industry that's coming here to build solar panels and Chinese, batteries from China. But what about the people that are paying more cost for electricity, and that's going to crush other industry and force them to move to China like a lot of other industries have already?
Yeah, and that's all about to stop now because of the tariffs. Thank God for these tariffs because they are working. A lot of unelected agencies that regulate how we live our lives are going away because of Doge, and I'm very grateful for that. It's going to save us millions, if not trillions of dollars. And inflation was ushered in by the Biden administration, not just through IRA, but just through bad choices all the way across the board, giving billions of dollars to foreign entities for no reason. It started with Obama. It continued through Biden. And the media is trying to blame Trump for everything. This man is fighting like a vicious dog to stop all of the stupidity in the way we spend our money. And for some reason, they're making him the bullseye for their criticism when he's trying to do the opposite of what they claim he's doing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 25% of our economy is government spending, and that is way, way too high. Yeah. We need to get back to the market, let the industries thrive, and that's what's going to happen with energy dominance. That's what's happening with tariffs, is it's going to bring manufacturing back to this country. You get rid of the EV mandate, that a lot of that was in the Inflation Reduction Act. These new requirements, new subsidies to companies, to force companies to build EVs and to force consumers to buy them because there's not going to be anything else available. And Ford and GM and Stellantis, these so-called American companies, are losing billions of dollars because of those requirements. And if you get rid of the EV mandate, then they're going to start building cars that people want, these hybrid electric vehicles, gas and diesel vehicles that people truly want, and they're going to be built right here in America with American technology and American workers. And that's a great thing. I mean, you talk about it's going to be a renaissance. It's going to be a golden era for the American automotive industry.
Yeah, we don't need China for any of the minerals either. I've said this on many shows. We have the minerals here. There are just too many regulations that won't let us mine for it. So as soon as we can get that off of our backs, the environmentalists need to calm down for 5 seconds, because last time I checked, China was part of the same Earth that we're on. And if you're worried about the environment, it should be everywhere. So they're digging for it. It doesn't really make any sense for us not to if we have it as well, and we do. So we need to be self-sufficient.
We absolutely do have it. We're world leaders in clean air in this country. We've reduced pollution that in certain concentrations impact human health by nearly 80% over the last 5 decades. We're number one when it comes to access to clean and safe drinking water. I love it when President Trump is trying to do some of these things to get us back to using more coal because it's cheap, it's plentiful, it's reliable, and you can keep it on site for have months of storage. There's not any other fuel source that you can ramp up and down for electric production that you can keep on site for storage. Natural gas is great. I'm a huge fan. We need a bunch of that. We need more nuclear. But you can't keep it on-site storage like you can with coal. And then guess what's in the ash? We have bag houses and scrubbers, this pollution control technology that we've utilized to improve our air quality here in the U.S. That ash that we're capturing when you burn coal, there's actually these critical minerals in the coal ash, like neodymium, which goes into making electric motors. Imagine that. So you don't even really have to mine for it. You can capture it from the garbage, if you will, from coal. This is a fantastic, but instead we're depending on China for it now because we're just not utilizing our technology and our skills, and we're trying to kill coal. And President Trump realizes that. He's trying to bring it back, and that's going to mean that we're going to bring industry back to this country because it is great electricity for electric generation.
If they could just stop their derangement for just a week and literally sit down and listen to some of the stuff that is going on without talking about El Salvador for at least one newscast, it would be nice for them to focus on the progress that's being made, which has been astronomical. They were trying to blame. I saw one chick on Facebook who did a whole montage about how Trump was responsible because her kids couldn't dye Easter eggs. I'm like, honey, you do realize the price came way back down when the age of the hens to lay eggs got back up because chicks were born and it just took a minute because of the bird flu. But it was Trump's fault. Everything is Trump's fault. So these regulations through the Inflation Reduction Act, completely built on lies. It was all a ploy to get everything to roll in the direction they wanted it to go. But it's falling apart in front of their very eyes, and sadly we're seeing good product come out of it. And so they have to just turn it up to 11 on how bad we're failing.
Yeah, it's really laughable. You look at the price at the pumps. I mean, gasoline has come down considerably.
Yeah.
The price of a barrel of oil is down. That's the heart of everything. It's not. The cost of energy is not the part of the economy. It's really the heart of the economy. Everything depends on that. Getting eggs to the grocery store.
Somebody
is
just
going
said
to be
that he's
cheaper.
reaping the rewards of the tail end of the Biden administration. What? We inherited a crap show, and he's trying to flush it. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, the $20 billion that was sitting in an account to go to Stacey Abrams and other nonprofits that have zero experience. Again, this is a Democrat funding operative bill. And that's why people are losing their minds, because they're no longer getting these handouts. It's why the protests. I mean, you've got all these protests that are way down. I mean, it's like because they're not paying actors anymore to show up because they're not getting their grants from the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, that was actually funding these dollars into left-wing organizations in the United States. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely absurd. The Inflation Reduction Act is just attempting to do the same thing.
Yeah. I'm a little sad for some of the students who are getting their student visas ripped away, who have done absolutely nothing wrong and who are here innocently and who are studying and who are not operatives for the Chinese or whatever other case there may be. But you can't. It should be a case-by-case basis. I get that. But since it's now happening locally, people are very upset and they're very mad at Trump because these kids have to leave. But some of them might be here nefariously, and we can't figure that out without just sending them home first and figuring it out through a process.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. They should really blame their colleagues for the situation that they're in when you have these 30-year-old men that are going to college and creating anti-Israel, anti-American protest on their Ivy League school campuses that are here as a guest of this country. If someone comes and does that in my house, I'm asking them to leave, and that's exactly what the president is doing. And if they brought people with them, those people are going to leave too. But you're right.
One
it is
way or the
unfortunate because there are some students that haven't done anything wrong that may be getting caught up in this. But guess what? They have some really bad actors to blame. And it's other guests to this country. It's appalling. It's the one they're throwing the fit over of Khalil. He's a 30-year-old man in college. Yeah. Like I had some friends that hung around college for a long time, but none of them were 30.
Yeah, well,
It's
and he hasn't even
absurd.
gotten his 4-year degree yet. So what's he doing?
Yeah, it's absurd.
Yeah.
He's just here to create a menace, and he was incredibly effective. And now these universities are losing billions of dollars, which I think is great. It's our tax dollars. To think that we're sending billions of dollars to these woke organizations as it is appalling.
I didn't even know that, and it made me super mad. Next is Planned Parenthood. We're coming for you. So the Democrats promised us that there would be a reduction in inflation. I was waiting and waiting and waiting because I needed to buy a house because I had to rent when I sold my last house. And I did it right when everything went upside down and inflation rates went super high. So I couldn't even afford to get into a house. Ultimately, I just had to end up buying one, and now I'm praying to God that the rates go down so I can refinance and get an actual normal amount for my mortgage, because what happened under Biden through all of this Inflation Reduction Act did what you said, the exact opposite, and we're facing astronomical challenges now just trying to make ends meet.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because and President Trump, I think yesterday, called for Jerome Powell to leave because he's not lowering rates when rates around the world are being lowered to counter inflation, to calm the markets, and Powell's not doing that. And you're right; it's the interest rates are astronomical right now for purchasers of homes, and I think it's one of the reasons why in the last 2 months you've seen the fewest housing starts in decades. It's the lowest level it's ever been, and we apparently have this housing crisis. People need places to live, and there's fewer houses being started over the last month. Again, you look at the interest rates are too high. The cost of energy is still too high. Cost of electricity is still too high. President Trump is trying to bring that down. These executive orders are doing that. It is going to take some time to get new electric generation built. But, I think one of the most beautiful things is they canceled a wind farm, a coastal wind farm off the coast of New York. These things are decimating our coast. I've been in this fight for since last decade. Trying to stop these things because the federal government completely ignored the environmental assessments of these coastal wind farms, and now they're actually looking at them. They're canceling a project. Doug Burgum, the Secretary of Interior, canceled one in New York yesterday. These industries are already getting crushed because they don't provide affordable, reliable electricity. They're going to the states and their providers to get utility rate hikes, and they're getting rejected. Everybody said wind and solar were cheaper. It turns out that couldn't be further from the truth. Everywhere they're implemented,
And
costs
they're
go up.
dangerous.
They're parasitic on yes.
They're dangerous. Well, I'm out of time. Anything you want to say before you have to go, Jason?
You can check us out and learn more at AmericanEnergyInstitute.com, or you can find me at X at Isaac for Energy.
And that's 2 A's, as in Isaac, not the singer. We're talking about Jason.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, CEO
and not the British actor.
and not that guy either. CEO and founder of American Energy Institute, Jason Isaac. The Inflation Reduction Act, bunch of crap. Don't believe anything they said to you. Let's turn it all around on its head. Thank you, sir.
It's got to go. Thank you so much.
See ya. Bye-bye.